What's wrong with U.S. gang stalking America? I have seen them every day for almost 10 years. They are our neighborhood watch group members in almost all our neighborhoods who gang stalk. What's wrong with them? Like the country they live in that has caused the chaos we see in the world, they are emotionally unintelligent. They are the narcissists who only see things from their own perspective, the emotional thinkers. They feel it, so thus it must be so. They are the authoritarians educated in our dysfunctional mass education system that teaches people how to turn themselves inside out to get an A, but not how to be self-reflective, how to know themselves, a prerequisite for really understanding, knowing others, being able to empathize, and hence being less aggressive, less violent. They are the people who have changed the face and character of America, who don't understand that without a Bill of Rights, America has no soul, is just an empty shell of a country our forefathers envisioned. They are the followers of sociopaths like Dick Cheney and the dysfunctional people who have led our nation, like Barack Obama, the Clintons, the George Bushes. Emotionally intelligent people recognize the traits of a dysfunctional government. It rules by fear. It is abusive. Think of our government's treatment of Bradley Manning, forced nudity, sleep deprivation. It is dogmatic, doesn't allow questioning authority. Think of all the ways our government now suppresses dissent. It encourages part of its population to abuse other parts. Think of psyops organized gang stalking. Loyalty manipulation. It offers perks right before elections to win votes of students, of Hispanics, of the poor. Helicopter governing. It tries to micromanage the lives of its citizens, even going so far as telling them the size of the Coke they can drink. Public image manager. It's all about spin, all about manipulating its image, controlling the narrative to make it look good even when it isn't. It's paranoid. It has persistent and irrational fear accompanied by anger and false accusations that its population is up to no good or actively plotting to harm it. No friends allowed. It tries to tell its population who it can associate with. Role reversal. The people are supposed to support the government rather than the government supporting the people. Not your business. It abuses the state secrets doctrine to hide its misconduct. The effects of our dysfunctional government on our population. Segments of our population refuse to take responsibility for themselves. Much of our population is depressed. Suicide is up in the military. We are a nation of addictions. Bullying is everywhere you look. Our population spends an inordinate amount of time trying to have fun. Real joy seems to be absent from our lives. Our population, who now contains a percentage of gang stalkers, wouldn't know a congruent, fully functioning, self-actualized person if they saw one. They don't understand the difference between mental health and mental dysfunction. These are the products of a big pharma culture. The pill poppers, the druggies, the alcoholics, the addicts of all types, food, smokes, anything to keep the pain from coming up that a dysfunctional culture engenders, a groupthink culture, a politically correct culture that lacks depth and a connection with nature. Values our sick culture has to learn to go sane. Transparency, authenticity, spirituality transcending ego, respect, gained through a willingness to engage in dialogue, not debate, learning real listening. The systemic nature of reality. We are not separate from our environment, the whole. The intersubjectivity of relationships, where both are responsible for what transpires. Respect for individuality, otherness, a willingness to learn the unique language of the other based on their unique life experiences, unique personality. The ability to use head as well as heart, sensing as well as intuition. The courage to live with holy insecurity. The wisdom to see our own narratives as nothing more than the stories we tell ourselves. Sick or healthy? That is the choice our world country faces. At the heart of our very sick culture that spawns things like government gang stalking, like continuous war, is a sense of powerlessness. Defenses, which are always there to thwart anxiety, whether on the psychological level or the world stage, always come from self-deception, from a distortion of reality. Control, dominate, manipulate is how people who feel inferior and weak survive in the world, while all the way playing on a bombastic display of strength, while all the way putting on a bombastic display of strength. Real strength comes from nature, a recognition of nature in ourselves and in others. We either meet the needs of nature or pay the price. The needs our sick culture ignores. The need of every person, country, to be confirmed. The need of every person, country, to express who they are. The need of every person, country, to find an environment where they can express what is unique and individual about them. That's it. That's the formula for inner peace, for world peace. But what does a sick culture do? Expose its citizens to cookie-cutter institutions that manipulate and control and dominate and ultimately make sick. Try to manipulate and control and dominate other countries instead of engaging in dialogue, building bridges, listening before speaking, really listening. Trying to impose conceptions of the good citizen, the good girl, and the good boy on citizens, and imposing penalties, government gang stalking, on those who deviate. Trying to lead, which is really another word for dominate, control, manipulate other countries, as if our country was such a shining model for others to follow, as the sick call it, an exceptional nation. Trying to impose a cookie-cutter new world order on people, countries, where everyone marches in lockstep to the tune set by elites, the moneyed and politically powerful. Life or death. That is the choice before us. Sick culture or building a healthy one. That is the choice before us. One conforms to the mental conception of the elites. One conforms to nature. Life is really pretty simple. It's only the mind of men and women that make it complicated. Confirm others, find environments where you receive confirmation yourself. The people, largely neocons, who have imposed the American police state on all of us, suffer from an internal police state as well, dominated by the tyranny of the shoulds. These are the people, the Ted Cruzes, the Donald Trumps, for whom pride is all. Witness their reaction to the capture of our sailors by Iranians. It is the stuff they are willing to go to war for. I never get any respect, is their almost comedic mantra. Respect, respect, respect me or you die. This is one of the cores of government gang stalking, where targets didn't assuage the delicate egos of the firemen who set the gang stalking horde on those who didn't give them respect their weak egos require. This is the trait of narcissists. At the core of this "we are exceptional" crowd is a gap between their real self and their ideal self. They are not who they tell themselves, their ideal self, that they are. I am exceptional. I am exceptional. You must treat me as such. Humiliation for them will not be tolerated. It threatens too much their fragile self-esteem, built on the basis of the lies they tell themselves about themselves. These people are not good at distinguishing the real from the fictions in their mind. The deluded gang stalkers assume everyone is like them. Their social acceptance is required to sustain their illusions about themselves. Hence, they assume the social isolation gang stalking imposes will devastate their targets. They are unaware. Healthy individuals have a strong sense of self and are not vulnerable as they are to what other people think. Do not need as much as they do confirmation, acceptance of others to maintain their sense of who they are. Personhood is an accomplishment. We go through the first half of our lives immersed in the memes of our culture. It is only in the second half of our life that, as Carl Jung says, the process of individuation can begin. It is the ultimate process of separation, individuation, that is the beginning of mental health. Jung accomplished it when he separated from Freud, which ushered in a period of completely new ideas that was unique to him. There always in the process of individuation is a new beginning, a breaking with the persona, who we learned we were in culture, an individuation process where we assimilate our shadow, those parts of ourselves that did not receive confirmation in our culture. The government gang stalkers are still enmeshed in the social matrix, a state of emotional fusion. This state is the result of not being able to think for yourself. It represents man's essential cowardice, of not being able to stand alone, not being able to contain one's own anxiety. The individuated person, the person who has embraced their unique individual personhood, has separated thinking from feeling. He or she knows what they believe, knows what their unique assemblage of values are, and lives by them. The phenomena of government gang stalking is an indication the conditions for individuation are lacking in America. Part of what must be the American reform movement is to create those conditions, the conditions encouraging full personhood in our country.